Hi everyone, my name is Maggie and I'm part of Hazelnut Community Farm. And I have a story for you today that touches on some of the themes that we've been talking about. When I was a child, I grew up a lot around lambs. We've heard about Jesus as the Lamb of God. So I'm very aware of how fragile and vulnerable lambs are. I used to go and stay with my grandparents on their farm most holidays as I was growing up, and often this was around Easter time when lambs were being born. I used to go and I used to help my gran to feed the lambs, to feed what we called the tiddlers. When the lambs were born, here's a photo of a ewe with her two lambs. If the ewe had more than two and too many to be able to take care of herself, they'd be put in a separate pen and they would be hand-fed. So my cousins and I used to help my grandparents to do this. We'd often choose one of the lambs each year to be ours and we'd name it. And one year, I remember standing in the school playground, I was about 8 years old, thinking about my lamb. And I realised that that year I had chosen a boy lamb, and that soon all the boy lambs would be sent off to the market to be sold and to end up as someone's dinner. Now, I was distraught by this, and I went to tell my best friend at the time. And she was a Christian, and she said to me, "Why don't you pray about it?" Now, this is probably one of the first times that I had thought about where my food comes from. One of the first times that I had thought about death and felt helpless to prevent something that I loved, my lamb, from being killed. And one of the first time that in my time of helplessness and need, someone had presented to me God as a solution. At the time, I laughed in my friend's face and I thought, God wouldn't be bothered with something like this. That's what happens to lambs. They go to market. I'm really upset, but I can't do anything about it. But now I look back on that story. My friend had the last laugh because 8 years later, when I became a Christian, I realized my need for God and realized what she was trying to offer me at that time. Now, in light of that story and in light of John 1, what we've been reading about Jesus as the one who made everything, the one through whom all things were made, coming and dwelling among us, I realized that that 8-year-old girl could have prayed. God might not have stopped the lamb from going to market, but it would have been a relationship, and I would have known that he cared. And so now, in the face of my own helplessness in times of need, my own frustration at lockdown, my sense of vulnerability when people around me have been ill and have died, when I look at the COVID-19 numbers and I feel helpless to change it because I just have to stay at home, I know that I can come to God, and I know that what my friend told me all those years ago isn't trite, isn't silly, but is genuinely what it means for God to have come and lived with us and to be the Lamb of God, the vulnerable one, to know what it is to be vulnerable, but because he's God, to be able to pray through him and to know that he cares. So that's my reflection for you today.